Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou. That is going to replace Fury. Who's going to be defending his title, I think, on August 21st against Daniel Dubois. Fury now wants to fight the former UFC heavyweight champion of the world in an exhibition bout. Well. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Are we surprised at BWTM Sports? Hell no. And we'll explain why in just a few moments. Don't go anywhere. Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Sports Gaming. So let's talk about this. Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou. Let me take your brains back a bit. Let me take your memory back. For those of you who suffer from amnesia, let me take you back to a time where I sat down with you all, boxing fans, BWTM sports fans. I said, there will come a time where there will be a league. And in that league, you will have fighters coming out of retirement and boxing. And people laughed at me. Before we knew it, we had Mike Tyson fighting Roy Jones Jr. And we've had such exhibition bouts, and then we've had, the misfits and people who can't box in a ring. So from something that's been very idealistic or something that has been like legendary, watching Tyson and Roy Jones in the ring fight in like a mythical matchup, even though they're way past the sell-by date. It was still great to see. It was still great to watch, and I, for one, was a massive fan of it. I was a supporter of watching Mike and Roy get on. Like, they're similar ages. I was like, yeah, I'll be down for that. I'll watch that. And it was really exciting. We've had the emergence of Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Floyd Mayweather, and his exhibition bouts. So I guess what I said came true. So the second thing I spoke about, boxing fans, was about this man, Francis Ngannou. Was it not me that turned around and said that looking at Francis Ngannou, and this must have done this video about a year and a half maybe ago, before he became world champion. I said, this guy, if he sharpens his tools up a bit, he could actually be a half decent boxer. It was just a question of guiding him, taking a little time with him. He's got the punching power for sure. Improving his stamina, just taking him through some fights and getting him acclimatized to the boxing world instead of the UFC world. And this is something that I spoke about at length. I guess at the time, people didn't sort of take what I was saying seriously. They kind of laughed at it for, nah. And Ngannou's not going to be fighting the heavyweight division. Nah, in boxing, nah. He's in UFC. He's not going to transfer over. Well. Tyson Fury and Ngannou meet. And Fury, you see this picture here. This is, I think, it was Fury after Fury fought Dillian White. He knocked Dillian White out in London, or the Chisora fight, one of those two fights. And guess who's in the ring standing next to him? Francis Ngannou. So if this exhibition fight's going to go ahead, yeah. So they're saying this is an exhibition bout. Now, why the hell would you want to watch an exhibition bout with two guys who, well, one guy is known for his explosive punching power. When you talk about Francis Ngannou, you look at him as a unit. And then the second thing is this guy punches like a mule. This guy really can punch. And he's got a decent technique behind. He can really let one go. According to Tyson Fury, according to this exhibition, the rules of the exhibition, there'll be no knockdowns. So what are they going to do? Are they just going to stand and move around the ring, and Tyson's going to smile at Ngannou, and Ngannou's going to smile at Tyson, and they're going to rob us? Now, when Tyson talks about the Klitschko era being the most boring era of the heavyweight division, well, Tyson Fury's got his own sort of like era now. The thing is, how the WBC will not strip this man, I don't know. I don't know why they will not strip Tyson Fury. If this WBC was had more cojones and weren't corrupt, because I think that if this man, if they're paying him, if the heavyweight champion was paying him off, because obviously there's sanctioning fees. As long as they keep getting their sanctioning fees being paid and there's certain money coming in to them, I guess they will allow Fury to do what the hell he wants. Quite clear. But if these sanctioning bodies were like, look, you know what? You have to defend this title by this time. Remember they were blowing that thing about Anthony Joshua being like the #1 contender to fight Tyson Fury, the WBC title. They were trying to make that mandatory. How the hell does that move from that to now it be Tyson Fury versus Ngannou? I don't understand it. I don't understand. And let's say, so what are we watching here? We're going to watch two guys move around the ring and what? No knockdowns, which means unless you, I don't know, if you're padding the gloves to the point where they're really, you remember those huge gloves you get when you get in the bouncing castle, them huge gloves. Couldn't knock anybody out with it because the gloves are too damn heavy. They're just so big. So anything, the gloves will push you over because you're on the bouncing castle. But seriously speaking, I mean, Fury can complain to say all he wants about Klitschko, but Klitschko was consistent. He fought regularly. This guy, when's the last guy this guy was in the ring? He's fought, okay, he fought Deontay Wilder fights. Take the Deontay Wilder's fight away and the Klitschko fight. Look at this man's resume and the guys he's fought. Dillian White, yeah, he was the #1 contender. I don't know what happened to Dillian that night. Derek Chisora for a third time. And the fans are allowing this to go on. To me, people will switch to Francis Ngannou because Ngannou's done no wrong. He's left at UFC because he's not been getting paid the money he deserves. And so he's going to enter the boxing arena. And boxing fans will think, okay, fair play. You're going to come and have a scrap, have a go. No problems. You're all like a trier and you've got punching power and you're a bit of a unit. And boxing fans, a lot of them like to see guys who are built like bodybuilders. That's the whole allure with like Anthony Joshua. He looks like he's a unit. Whether he can box or not or fight, it's another matter altogether. He just looks the part. Francis Ngannou, we know, can fight. We know he can land big punches. We know he's a huge puncher. But if the thing that we know Ngannou for is punching power and his brute strength, and he's not allowed to do that with Tyson Fury, what exactly are we watching? All this fanning around, Tyson could be making the defense title against Frank Sanchez, for example. Even go and fight F.A. Jackman, but fight somebody. Fight somebody. You know? So my thoughts are that I think it's a PR disaster. And I think that what will end up happening for this fight of Fury versus Ngannou is that people will want Ngannou to knock Fury out. They will. They will go towards Ngannou. Because guess what? Usyk's fighting against Dubois. And I think these are my thoughts on Tyson Fury. I think Fury wants the old man Usyk. I think Fury wants Usyk to fight. And maybe he's heard rumors that Usyk's thinking of retiring soon. And Tyson Fury's thinking, right, you know what? I'm going to delay this fight for as long as possible. Yeah, you go and fight Daniel Dubois. Make sure, hope that's a tough fight for you and Dubois. Let Dubois put some hands on you. Hey, you might beat Dubois. That's another tough fight for you. You get through that. And then I'll fight you afterwards, next year when you're an old man, when your speed's gone, because that's going to be Usyk's biggest weapon, his speed and his movement. Once Usyk's speed and movement leaves him, he's a sitting duck. He's a sitting duck. I think Fury is hoping upon hope that Usyk slows down and he's, gives up the belt and runs away into the distance. That's what I think Fury's hoping. The reason why I think he's hoping that, because he admitted himself openly, the toughest fight of his career outside Deontay Wilder was Steve Cunningham. You can't compare Steve Cunningham to Alexander Usyk. He said he just wanted to walk in straight lines and try and take Cunningham out. And that was then. Look at his style now. I would say Fury's less skilled now, and Fury's more of a power puncher than when he fought Steve Cunningham. So he was trying to Mack truck Steve Cunningham and got floored. And Cunningham, as he said, was outboxing him. So based on that, it was a cruiserweight. Why the hell does he want to get in the ring against Alexander Usyk and have a horrible night against Usyk? Why would you do that? When you can make so much more money against Francis Ngannou, a guy that's limited in boxing ability, and stamina is not his greatest attribute. And Fury knows, well, look, you know what? I keep him at the end of a jab, and that's it, really. And with this exhibition thing, there's no way Fury is going to get himself in a position where he really gets hurt. I don't know if it's kind of like the rules of kind of like wrestling, sort of like, you know. But the other thing that brings me back to Tyson Fury, and he is the king of contradictions. If you go way back in the day where Fury was talking about fighting Klitschko, he used to call out Cain Velasquez, and he kept saying, not Cain Velasquez. That's when Cain Velasquez was the heavyweight champion in the world. Remember them days? Yeah, and Fury kept saying, "I'll knock Cain Velasquez out." In fact, I've actually got him on my one of my interviews I did with him. That's one of the first interviews I did with Tyson Fury back in the day on Bayloric TV. So just type in Tyson Fury Bayloric TV, and sat down. We did the interview over Skype back in the day. Yeah, Skype. And he talks about Cain Velasquez, that he put a fish right through Cain Velasquez. And he said he'd get in the cage and he'd fight Velasquez. Now, John Jones has piped up and said that he'd fight Fury in the cage. Fury's like, no, and even Adesanya, he's like, no, I'm a boxer. I'm not getting in the ring and fighting nobody inside. I'm not getting no cage and fighting nobody in cage. I'll fight a man in the ring, but in the cage. What happened? What happened to all the bare knuckle stuff? What happened to bare knuckle talking? What happened to all that? There's no way in hell that Tyson Fury is going to get 4-ounce gloves and box Francis Ngannou. And no. And wait, just hold on a second. Let's say, for example, Francis Ngannou absolutely batters Tyson Fury. What does that say about the heavyweight division? What happens if Ngannou flattens Tyson Fury? Where does that put the heavyweight? Where does that put boxing in the heavyweight division? Just for a moment. Stranger things have happened. The guy's big. He's a unit. He's not a small guy. And if you look at the picture here, it's not like Tyson Fury is towering over Ngannou. So if Ngannou can get close and let bombs go, of course, with these exhibition rules, that might not even happen. We might have something more like when Evander Holyfield did the exhibition bout with, I think it was either a mayor or a senator. Yeah, and he went in the ring against a senator, and it was quite silly, really. If you go and look at that, it's on YouTube. It's quite silly, really. Because I wonder how hard Ngannou hits with 10-ounce gloves as opposed to 4-ounce. He's not the puncher Wilder is, but it would be hilarious if Ngannou chin Fury for ducking Usyk. Well, that's the thing. Well, I don't. You say he's not the puncher that Wilder is. Well, I don't want to put my chin on it with any of those guys, but I'll tell you something now. Ngannou, a lot of people will want Ngannou to chin Tyson Fury. It's too many damn options as far as I'm concerned. Could you imagine Mike Tyson saying, "No, I'm not going to fight Evander Holyfield. I'm going to do an exhibition fight against Hulk Hogan." Now, back in the day, did you know that Hulk Hogan and Mike Tyson were going to fight? Hulk Hogan and Mike Tyson. Can you believe it? That would have happened. There was even talk back in the day when Tyson was knocking everybody out that Marvin Hagler was suggested that Marvin Hagler move up to heavyweight to fight Mike Tyson. We've had Muhammad Ali and the wrestler. Yeah, but everyone knew universally that Muhammad Ali was the man. Universally, he is the man. People are just talking and saying Tyson Fury is the man because he beat Deontay Wilder. But there's another guy that's got more belts than Tyson Fury. And until Tyson actually beats that man, Usyk, he can't claim to be actually the man. He has won all the belts before. I'm not saying that he's not the favorite. Yeah, you never heard that one? Yeah, actually, he says, I'm only 23. Never heard of that. Yeah, if you go on, just type it in, Mike Tyson, Hulk Hogan, and check it out. It was on. It's on YouTube. It's there. I was watching it myself. I thought, wow, can you imagine that was something that was proposed? So I like the novelty of this fight, yeah, but I would prefer the novelty of this fight with Tyson Fury being that undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Fine. I get it when he was going and doing the WWE thing. He's trying to get his name out there. I get that. You got your name out there now, but I don't understand this Ngannou fight. You know, you could add a warm-up fight, but I don't know. Fury said it's 50 times more, and Nganou's going to make 50 times more in this fight fighting Tyson Fury than he would in any of his career as a UFC fighter. So, I don't know, people. I don't know what to say to you all, apart from the fact that if this is allowed to happen, thank God for Crawford Spence. Huh? Thank God for Crawford Spence. At least we've got that fight happening. You know? Tomorrow, I believe at 11 a.m. is the press conference for Daniel Dubois versus Alexander Usyk. I expect Daniel to sound very naive. I expect Alexander Usyk to just take control of the floor when they meet tomorrow. Don Charles will take on the role of mentor stroke head straightener for Daniel Dubois. Any thoughts on Michael Hunt? I feel like he was going to be fighting the top of the division and then end up fighting people like Jerry Foot. Due as boxer, I rate Michael Hunter very highly, but you know, I'll tell you something now. A lot of these boxers, and I saw it coming with Michael Hunter, a lot of these fighters act like if they've arrived when they haven't. And that's the problem. You look at this certain fighters I mentioned to you. Michael Hunter, Keith Thurman, there's a few of them. And they act like they've arrived. And wow, look at Keith Thurman now. Look at Keith Thurman now. If you remember Keith Thurman one time back in the day, people don't talk about Keith Thurman no more. When Keith Thurman's talking, he's like, oh, yeah, all right, mate. All right, mate. So Hunter, yeah, I rated him as a boxer. Good evening, Anthony. How you doing? I rated Michael Hunter. Can't say I rate Michael Hunter because I don't know what's going on in Michael Hunter's head, but I talked about this just before COVID time. I said expect certain fighters' contracts to come to an end. It's not just about you boxing. You've got to put out knockout performances, and you've got to be social media savvy. I mean, if you're not, and you can't sell tickets, you'll get gotten rid of. I mean, that fight against Povetkin, I think you should have done a job on Povetkin, but what has Michael Hunter done to get any ratings? You forget what Michael Hunter did to Martin Bakole. He beat up Martin Bakole. He stopped him. He stopped what's that? Ustinov as well. I think he stopped Ustinov. He stopped another guy as well. So yeah, and he got the draw against Povetkin. So I thought Hunter's a good boxer. I'm not gonna knock him. He's a fundamentally good boxer. He should have been in the mix. If Alexander became a heavyweight champion of the world, then I always thought that Hunter was there or thereabouts. Hunter's always been there or thereabouts. But dedication, commitment, maybe frustration in contracts, I don't know. I've spoken to Mike Hunter a long time. Bakole's shoulder slipped out. Ah, man, listen, Bakole's getting beat up in there, man. Listen, Bakole's getting beat up in there. Don't make excuses. Ustinov's an old man. So Ustinov's an old man. Joyce fought him, and he was an old man. But Hunter fought him. He was like, come on, man. It's not about that. People in the heavyweight division, it's not the middleweight division. It's the heavyweight division. People age. When Lennox Lewis fought, what's his name? Vitaly Klitschko. Well, he's a 38-year-old old man. I don't know about that, man. Povetkin was an old man too. Usyk versus Hunter was a good fight. Thank you very much, Mr. Green. Thank you so much. Hunter's a good fighter. Know your boxer, mate. Hunter's a good boxer, good fundamental boxer. Go look and see what Usyk did. Look at how he fought Hunter. Hunter and Usyk fought a cruiserweight. Hunter's a good fighter. He was beating up Bakoli. Bakoli, I don't rate Bakoli. Basically, Bakoli fights with his face. And when you fight with your face, you know what's going to happen. It was like when people talk about Alex Babbage. Babbage is this, and Babbage is... I said, listen, Babbage fights with his face. Eventually, that rubbish is going to come to an end. It did in one round. You can't fight with your face. Hunter's technically very good. Do I still have respect for Fury? What do you mean by respect? Do I respect his achievements? Yes, I respect his achievements. But you know, I've known Fury for years, and I've been telling people for years, Fury is the master of contradiction. He'll tell you this today and that tomorrow, and I know it because I used to interview him all the time. So I'd watch certain patterns of him when I talked to him on the phone, off the phone, on camera, off camera. And so I, you know, meet him up close and talk to him, do interviews with him, asking questions. See, it's Mr. Contradiction. You know, so do I respect Tyson Fury? I respect him for who he is. And that's as much I can say. Just because a man decides to do, if you just accept Tyson Fury for who he is, don't believe anything he says, and just wait until he signs, or wait until he's doing the ring walk. That's it. That's as much as I say Tyson Fury. I'll see it when you're in the ring, mate. Other than that, I don't pay him any mind. Blah 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 blah. I don't pay him no mind, because I know it's just talk and waffle, and it's promotion, staying in people's faces. That's it. It's just promotion. That's it. Hunter has not done anything in the heavyweight division for me. Give him any ratings, and his career will fizzle out like many heavyweights in the current era. Anyway, moving on. I would like to see footage of Hunter and AJ sparring. Feel like that's a bad start for AJ, to be honest. Okay, let me tell you. Well, let me leave it. I'm not even going to take that on. He's taking the mickey out of the division. Anyway, saying things not going through him. Yeah, but he's been doing it for years. It's only now you guys are picking up on Fury. I was telling you that before Fury is making his comeback. He's the master of contradiction. All that's happened now is that all that behavior of Tyson Fury is just like on mass scale now, because more people are watching him. He's always been like that. So I don't, you know, that's who he is. Can't believe after Usyk accepted just 30%, Fury still avoided. Well, I don't take Fury. I don't take what he says seriously. When he's in the ring, he goes about his business. And that, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not looking at Tyson Fury as a politician or a prime minister or the next leader of the free world. No, he's Tyson Fury, boxer, professional boxer. And for that, I have the utmost respect for him. He's an elite athlete in what he does, right? And that is what I respect him for. But the rest of it, I couldn't care less about, to be honest. Fury's a clown. Do you know what's Boots Innes? You forget Boots Innes was the channel. Boots Innes was on this channel. So I know everything about Boots Innes. I knew about Boots Innes when he had his first and second pro fight. So I knew about Boots Innes. I had one show, I had Boots Innes, this Irish heavyweight fighter that Peter Fu used to train, and Dave Allen, I think. So I've known Boots Innes for many years. Emily Pandalakis introduced me to, shout out to Emily, by the way. When I was in full flow of doing my interviews, I'd get all the top fighters. It was him, it was Thurman, there was Crawford, all them guys. So I watch Innes, and the guy that fought Villa, the guy that he beat, which was Ellis, was another guy that I knew on the channel. Like, was one of the guys that interviewed. He was number one welterweight in America, but Ellis is not dedicated. That is what it is. He's not dedicated. And if you're not dedicated, that's what happens. And then Ennis is dedicated. So there's a difference. Can't wait for the current crop of heavyweights to go away. This has been rubbish era of heavyweight boxing. Okay. Well, usually happens on one unexpected night when everyone thinks it's going to go according to plan, and one right hand out of anywhere, hand of the gods as new heavyweight champion of the world. I bet you're all praying for a real heavyweight champion of the world. The only real people in the heavyweight division is White and Chisora, and they will fight anyone anytime. Jovic really reminds me of Bivol. Looking forward to see him keeping up the levels of opposition. Let's see how he does. Like I said, I don't boost up anyone until the time comes where I've seen them do the tests, pass the test. I told you about Jared Anderson. I'm like, no. Jared Anderson, no. And they're like, no, Jared Anderson is the future of the heavyweight division. I said, based on what? And then he gets shook twice by Charles Martin, who basically, as far as I was concerned, he was sparring him. That's what he was. Because if he wanted to, he could have stopped Anderson. But that is not the plan of Top Rank. Can't be doing that. He gave him a little tickle, and then he realized, this guy's not as good as advertised. Well, we need to protect him because he's the future of the heavyweight division. That's what that was. Yeah, there you go. Correct, he did carry him. Yes, Martin could have stopped him, I'm sure of it. There you go. He carried him. So what are we going to get here with Fury and Ngannou? How can you do an exhibition bout with no knockdowns? How's that going to work out? How are they going to do that? Hey, long time. Hope all is well over there in the UK. It's been a minute. So this fight here, like I said years ago about Ngannou entering the heavyweight division and boxing, I don't understand how you do an exhibition bout. Like I said before, I don't want to keep repeating myself. Ngannou's known for brute strength and power. How the hell are you going to do a fight against, and the whole novelty about the fight, really, let's be honest, it's the elephant in the room. Can Ngannou land on Tyson Fury? And if he does, what happens? Can he chin Fury? And people are more interested about that now because of the way Fury's been moving in the heavyweight division. That's all people care about. Can he chin Fury? That's it. Very few people are saying, oh yeah, can Fury beat Ngannou? Oh, people are thinking, can Ngannou land one on Fury's chin? And if so, can he drop him and keep him there? That's what people want to know. So I don't know how this game changer works. Just like when Cotto rocked young Canelo and was slow to follow up. Yeah. Where are you at? Oh, I've been in Africa for the last 2+ years. Wardley versus Martin would be interesting. Wardley a bit green and defensively irresponsible. Like Anderson, I compared Anderson, like Wardley is like Anderson's like the UK is like Wardley. They're both the same type of guy. They're the same guy because they do exactly the same thing. You hit, like Wardley could be like sleepwalking and fight. You hit him on the chin and suddenly he wakes up. Same thing with Anderson. You hit Anderson in the chin and then he starts getting vicious with you. Same kind of guy, and both defensively irresponsible. Ngannou and Fury is a flipping gimmick. We should be demanding this bald-headed clown to vent WB site and start doing flipping gimmick fights to fatten his pockets. Well, blame the WBC for that. Now, I believe the WBC are sort of one of my favorite fighters, Jamal Charlo. Now, he's going through some personal issues, and WBC have an organization called WBC Cares. Shout out to Jill Diamond. And it's all about looking after fighters. But I don't know where this falls in line with it. I don't know if Fury's lying in the pocket of the WBC. So Mauricio Suleiman will not say anything too much about Fury's defense of the title. I don't know. Random thought. Dave Allen versus Chisora will happen. I said that before. Remember I said to you I thought Chisora and Allen will happen and it'll be pay-per-view. I am a Fury fanboy. I admit it. Have been ever since he beat Vlad. But I ain't watching him fighting Ngannou as a joke. You'll say that. Today you'll say that because the fight hasn't been announced. But let them start doing the promotion and then Fury starts to open up his mouth and blah, 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 blah. You just get caught up in the hype. Get caught up in the hype. Look, Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury. Flipping hell. Look at that. Because the fight's not being made. So, okay, speaking of Fury and Ngannou, if he lands a big punch and knocks him down, Fury got extra to get up against Wilder when he got KO boxing proper corrupt. Yeah, well. There's something if Ngannou were to nail Fury and he didn't get up. Oh my God, you think Dave Allen should already be pay-per-view? That's scary if Hearn makes it pay-per-view. Yeah, it'll happen. Remember, this is the same. Remember, it's money makers, not matchmakers. Matchroom are money makers, not matchmakers. So if they can make Kell Brook versus Frankie Gavin and make that pay-per-view, then yeah, it can happen. Usyk versus Dubois face-off press conference. I actually made a prediction when Dubois left Shane McGuigan. I said that Don Charles would be the right guy for Dubois. I actually thought that Shane McGuigan did nothing for Dubois, and I also believe that Don Charles would have been a better trainer for him after he left. I think it's Bowers. I think it's Martin Bowers. I think it is. I think Don Charles would have been perfect for Dubois because Dubois needs that sort of father figure, someone to embrace him and talk with him and look after him. Dubois is like a little kid in a big man's body, and he needs to mature. And I don't like the Usyk fight at all. I didn't like what I saw from the Laria fight. I didn't like that at all. So yeah. What do you think? Don trainer Dan? Yeah, I know. I heard about it. I hear about one or two things out here in Africa. I'm in Nigeria actually, so I'm going to see Don. Let him know I'm doing a lot of work in Lagos. Doing a lot of work with the young people here in Lagos. And it's good. I enjoy it. I'm happy that Don has got Dubois. I'm just angry that Don got Dubois after Shane McGuigan. I think Dubois should have gone straight to Dubois. Should have straight gone to Don, not gone to Shane McGuigan. I don't know what the hell Shane McGuigan was doing. Also, I like what Bashir did with Vidal Riley. I don't know if you know, EJ, but Bashir was training Vidal Riley in America. And you could see the difference in Vidal's boxing just in one training camp. Looked a different fight altogether. So if someone can explain to me how you do an exhibition bout with no knockdowns, how does that work? How do you call Don training so early? What made you see it? I mean, who in the boxing community in Britain would you say has a father figure mentality? Not Booth, definitely not Caldwell. What else can you mention? Definitely not Shane McGuigan, too young. Definitely not Ben Davidson, no chance. So Don Charles is perfect. I think Don Charles is a better trainer than people give him credit for. I just don't think he gets the top fighters like McCracken got straight out the GB squad. He doesn't get them. Don Charles is like, for me, with all due respect, he's like the what's the name of the guy? He's like the Virgil Hunter of the UK. And this is what I mean. When people get beaten up and knocked out, they go to Virgil Hunter. You remember Virgil Hunter had a host of fighters that had been knocked out or beaten up, and he kind of put them back on the path. So, like, that's not a disrespectful thing. I think that Don doesn't get the top fighters, like the guys like you won't see like somebody wins an Olympic gold medalist go to Don Charles' gym. And that's not because of Don, that's just boxing politics. It's a shame. I think he's a very good trainer. I think he's wears his heart on his sleeve. And he's the sort of trainer that there's very few and far between trainers like that who actually care about you and care about your welfare in and out of the ring, and are not interested in just lining their pockets, but actually care for the fighter. And that's why I said Daniel Dubois needs that sort of guy around him. But I wonder if the damage has been done already, and by the Joyce fight, because he should never fought Joe Joyce. So, do you think he doesn't get first pick for great fighter because of his race? Do you think maybe it's crap? Yes. Yes, I do believe so. I remember Aldi Harrison coming out and saying years ago that promoters would choose who the boxer would have to train with. And they have their own established trainers already. Like, if you go with Herm, you got to train with certain trainers, like you have to go from McCracken. You know the ones, I think it was McCracken, what's his other guy's name? Dave Colwell. You know the names. So you're Frank Warren. Then there's a certain stable of fighters you go with. So that's how it works. So, and I do remember this is all these words, not mine. He said that there was a big thing about pushing black fighters with white trainers. As far as I'm concerned, if I'm managing a fighter, how dare the promoter say you should go to this trainer? The promoter's not doing the fighting. The boxer's doing the fighting. And so I want my fighters to be looked after in and out the ring. I love the way Don King did things. Back in the day, Don King had handlers. So he invested in those fighters. So therefore, that was the investment. So he had people that looked after those fighters, that followed them around. They're called handlers. And someone like Daniel Dubois needs a handler. And you need somebody who's going to look after him and baby steps with him. Now, he could be a dangerous fighter, but there's a lot of things he needs to tighten up on. I remember watching Daniel Dubois at Peacock Gym. And I'm watching this guy, I'm looking, Jesus Christ. So basic. 1, 2, bang, bang. And I kept thinking, bang, 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 bang. I said, if that is what they teach him there, I said, this guy's career, he'll just end up fighting a whole lot of tomato cans. And then when he fights somebody decent, he's going to buckle over. And then I heard all the reports coming out of a training camp, sparring camp about Dubois. And I'm like, yeah, well, if he goes and fights Joe Joyce, this is what's going to happen. And exactly as I said, it happened. So there's some things the young man needs to work on. And I hope I'm sure Don will look after him, but I just don't. Again, you look at what Don Charles has got to work with now. He's got to work with Daniel Dubois, who's come back from an injury. I don't even know if Daniel Dubois is even fully healed with his leg. And he's going to go and fight arguably the best heavyweight in the world in Alexander Usyk. I mean, it's not exactly preparation time, is it? Daniel Dad stepped in and said he wants Don to train his son. Frank wanted Ben Davison to train him. See, what did I say? Look at that. You rate Mark Tibbs? Did he never look the same after you left? Yeah, right. Listen, it's not for me. It's not about color. It's about, can you do the job? I rated Mark Tibbs very highly, but I don't think Tibbs is for Dubois. Tibbs is a good trainer. I like him. I like Tibbs. You see what he was doing with Dillian Whyte. I think Dillian Whyte was I thought it was nice that Dillian Whyte brought on Xavier. I thought it was nice, a nice touch there. But when you're going into the elite level, you need people that are not trying to find out what it's like at elite level at your expense. No disrespect to Xavier, but you need to have people around there that have been there, seen it, and done it. Especially in the upper echelons of the heavyweight division. There's a lot of money to be made. I'm sure there's a lot of pitfalls that maybe a trainer that's not been to that level would not see. Do you understand? So, but I think Mark Tibbs is a very good trainer, very good trainer. If you are looking to become a British boxer, you're pretty much controlled by your manager promoter. There's not much room for choice. What a shabby sport. Well, you mean yes men? Well, yes men. Mr. Speaker, his leg's fine. Yeah, well, we'll see if his leg is fine. Didn't done better with Banks. Really? Was that only one fight he had with Banks, or 2 fights he had with Banks? I thought Dillian did better with well, Dillian went to number 1 with Tibbs. The Tibbs? Yeah, he went to number 1 with Tibbs. He was ranked number 1 in the world, or he got to number 1 slot under Tibbs. He guided him that way. So he had the fights against was it Parker? He went on a 4 or 5 round unbeaten. And he had fought Hellenius. He fought Parker. He fought, what's this guy's name? The Bridgerweight champion, or was the Bridgerweight champion. Is Oscar Rivas. And he fought on the Tibbs. So I thought Tibbs did really well with him. Daniel is about to walk into an arena full of neo-Nazis from Poland and Ukrainians shouting racist and spitting him during the ring at a time when his confidence is sharp. This is what I'm saying. Not exactly what he needs to be doing. So I think, yeah, I'm not convinced. Me personally, I'm not convinced in Banks. Talking about the handlers, they're all yes men. They were yes men to King. They were yes men to King. If they didn't look after his investments, they'd get it. So I don't know. Rivas, Parker, Rivas, Chisora. Yeah, there you go. So if you've got to look at the trainer and what he did with the fighter, and those names there were top fighters, I thought at the time. Well, Parker had only got beaten by Joshua, and I said that when White fights him, he's gonna rough him up and manhandle him. The Rivas fight was a difficult fight. Rivas had beaten Jennings, still unbeaten fighter, good fighter Rivas. And then Chisora fight, I knew he was gonna knock Chisora out. Fight's still coming up. I believe it's exhibition bout. So England had a good trend, but I think the trainers get far too much credit for a boxer wins. Everything in preparation, the fight goes down to the boxer. But you see a lot. The thing is, what I notice a lot of the English trainers, a lot of them, is that when they're in the UK, they're fine. Whenever they go to America in a big fight, I don't know if they lose their voice, I don't know if they lose their tactics, but it seems pretty pedestrian. The guy goes there most of the time and gets a good pacing with no plan B. That's what I've noticed. Neo-Nazis from Poland and the Ukrainians. Yeah, that is exactly what's going to happen. A lot of British pro trainers and keep fit guys who've never boxed professionally. Well, I think just because Enzo Calzaghe, he never boxed professionally. He was a piano teacher. Look what he did for Joe. So I'm not. Whilst I think it's important, how do I put it? I think where you're weak, you can bring people in that are pretty strong. So I think you can have a balance there where you might not be you might not be great at, you might not have had a boxing career, but you may have a very good eye for fighters and strategy and stuff like that. Look at Enzo Calzaghe, did brilliantly with Joe. Nazis from Poland banking Usyk. Yeah, they will. That's it. And they know that, like, Daniel Dubois mentally will crack. He'll crack. That's why he's going to really need Don Charles going in there, because I guess Don has got that experience. He would have had that experience because when Chisora fought Klitschko, Vitaly Klitschko, he would have got that experience there or something like that. it is maybe because when they fight in the States, they're fighting Mexicans and Americans, etc., whose styles are different to what the UKs are used to. Yeah, but you'd think after seeing arse whooping after arse whooping after arse whooping, if you're a connoisseur and you're a student of the game, like for myself, I didn't stay in England. Once I got my qualification, I wanted to test myself. I went to Australia. I went to where I'd be against the best and against proper competitive coaches and players, and that's what I did for my sport. Even more so now, even though I'm in Africa, with the South Africa, I got my coach was the coach that coached the Indian team to win the World Cup and took India to #1 in the world and won the IPL. We're talking cricket here. But I got my level 3 under him. So you put yourself in position to test yourself. And I don't think a lot of these British trainers are prepared to put themselves in a position for them to learn and gain more. They're quite happy to stay in England and then go on holiday with their fighter. That's what for a lot of the trainers. Do you think Mr. Bashir could help Don to get him over the line? Yeah, I think so. I definitely think so. You should ask him. I need to ask him. You could ask me. You strive to be the best. Big up. Thank you so much. Then it is to go downstairs. Go downstairs. Go downstairs. Usyk is not exactly the most difficult person to hit. Where he doesn't like it is to the body. And that's where Joshua didn't do his own work. He should have worked Usyk's body. Should have worked Usyk's body. Work his body. Work his body. Don't go for the big shots. Get up close, push him out again, lean on him, get on the ropes and work his body. Once you work his body, all you're looking in the early rounds is to work that body. Work that body, work that body, work that body, work that body. And let that straight right hand be a defensive weapon rather than an attacking weapon. So straight right hand down, boom. Let Usyk feel that power so he's not so quick to want to come in. And when you can get close and in the clinches, whack them body shots in. Push him up against ropes and whack him to the body. Whack that body. Because when Usyk slows, that's where it becomes game on. But you've got to go to that body. You've got to work that body. Daniel's got to work that body. They've got to work some way and look to use the right hand as a deterrent, not as an attacking weapon, but use the attacker's defense. So instead of going there to try and bomb Usyk out, use the right hand sparingly. So if Usyk's coming to you, when he throws his left, go over the right because you've got longer reach. Crack him with that right hand straight for the middle and push Usyk to the ropes and work the body. Of course, the referee is going to be on Usyk's side. He's southpaw, not easy to do. No, well, Joshua was able to do it with the straight right hand. He hurt him quite a few times with the straight right hand. Check, left hook down. Yeah, but when you're talking like that, you've got to be you've got to actually take into consideration the fighter we're dealing with here. And Dubois, you have got to give him very basic instructions. You can't be giving him check left hook because Dubois is not that type of guy. He's not that guy. You've got to give him very basic instructions. Listen, I want you to just fire that right hand straight down the middle. Straight. Let him come in, fire the right hand straight down the middle. If you get a chance, try and fire the left hook into the body. But keep him at long range. Let him just step back, draw him in, hit him with a straight right hand. And occasionally you throw the left hook. Occasionally. Don't throw it all the time. Occasionally whip it in. You've got to, if you start telling Dubois, yeah, check left hook, he'll leave himself open and get kicked with straight left down the middle and get knocked out. I'm telling you. He needs to keep the fight at distance. I've got a bad feeling about the Dubois fight. I think something bad will happen. Yeah. I see it too. I don't get good vibes about this fight at all. I don't. I don't. After seeing what happened that left hand and Larea, that's Kevin Larea, and dropping him the way Kevin Larea dropped him. Fury is praying that Dubois pulls off the impossible. Of course he is. No, Usyk will check hook Dubois. I don't think he'll check hook him. I don't think he'll check hook him at all. I really don't. I think it'd be straight left hand. If I'm studying Daniel Dubois and I'm watching Daniel Dubois on tape and I'm watching his last fight against the Southpaw, what did he get dropped with? Straight left hand. You just step to him, and Daniel threw a shot, he threw left hand straight through the middle. Bam! Daniel went down. And I don't think to myself, that's Kevin Larea, who came up from what, light heavyweight? Nah. He went down like a sack of potatoes. And Usyk is got better mobility than Larea. And Larea, to me, I thought Larea threw that fight. I really felt he threw the fight because he had Dubois hurt and out of there. And for some reason, he just stood there now and let Dubois just load up on him. And it's like somebody said, you know what? I'll pay you another 250 grand. Just stand there and let Dubois knock you out. All right, no problems. Not Daniel, mate. Yeah, I get you. I do not feel happy about the fight at all, but we'll see. We'll see. Tyson Fury will be praying. He'll be on his hands and knees praying that Dubois can land something on Usyk. I don't know how. I don't know what Dubois can do. He's slow of feet. He's slow of hand. He's very basic in his combination punching. He's a good finisher. If he gets you hurt, he'll get you out of there. But it's just... Dubois has only one gear, and it's to go forward and bludgeon his opponent with his size and power. If that doesn't work, he doesn't have a clue. Well, that's it. Dubois has no head movement. Usyk straight left will land all night. That's the thing. I got mine Daniel going 12 rounds. I haven't. I certainly haven't. I've seen get stopped in the first 6, to be honest. The only thing I think that Daniel can do is use that right hand as a deterrent. As I said, straight right hand. Hit Usyk with that right hand down the pipe. Boom! And hit his body, working to the body as well. I see Usyk stopping deep. Yeah, I see him stopping him early as well. Inside 4 or 5 rounds. I really do. Because if Kevin Larea can hit him so easily, and Kevin Larea doesn't have the speed, the movement, or the class of Usyk, I'm sorry. Big upset this year, watch. Well, listen, like I'm saying, if Daniel Dubois can catch Usyk with that straight right hand, if he can catch him with that straight right hand and hurt him and then jump on him, then fine. But I believe, Usyk's 35 years old. Usyk is 35 years old, got it. But this is the heavyweight division. And heavyweights, if you're talking lightweights, I would probably say yeah. But heavyweight, nah. I don't. It's I'm looking for is Usyk's had a good rest. What I'm looking for with Usyk is whether he's slowed down. If he's slowed down, then Usyk will land a big left hand inside too and just pick him apart clinically. That's what I see happening. The writing on the wall for me about Dubois was before the Lati fight. I always said that someone with movement beats the brakes off him. Well, yeah. Dubois got fed too much easy opposition. And so when he did fight good opposition, the good opposition ended up being Joe Joyce. What opposition? One thing I like about DTD, he's a good finisher, and if he catches Usyk on that, he'll go for it. Of course, he's a small heavyweight. So is Mike Tyson. So is Evander Holyfield. So is David Haye. I don't know what you're getting at, mate, because David Haye was what? Small heavyweight, and he was able to hit that humongous head or value ever made him do a dance. So size doesn't matter. Holyfield at 15 stone something dropped Riddick Bowe. You know, it's not size. It's what you do. It's how you use the size. So I wouldn't fall into that trap about Usyk's a small guy. I mean, come on. Usyk's a small guy, but he fought Anthony Joshua. And as far as I'm concerned, Anthony Joshua is a better fundamental boxer to Daniel Dubois. That's what I think. I think Daniel Dubois is like reckless, in my opinion. Usyk's got no power, mate. All right. Oh, you sit there believing that stuff. You sit there believing that stuff. You sit there believing Usyk's got no power. Well, I'm sure that you'll be watching it yourself. You'll see. Joyce is decent. Beat Herkovic in the... Yeah, I know. The real deal got power. Usyk's got no power. All right, mate. Okay, mate. That's what my ex said about me. It's not about the size, but how you use it. Absolutely. Size does matter, but it doesn't. It does matter, but it doesn't always matter if you compensate with your own skill. There you go. Who will you knock out then? Daniel Dubois? Wait and see. You'll stop Dubois. Tell that to Tony Bellew. Exactly. No, mate. Sorry. Sit there thinking, oh, Usyk ain't got power. Just sit there thinking that. Sit there thinking Usyk ain't got power. If Usyk didn't have power, then Joshua would have run up on him. And he couldn't run up on him. And Derek Chisora tried to run up on Usyk as well. Go back and look at round, I think, 7 or 8. Usyk was tired. But you look at Derek with a 1-2, a left hand straight through the middle. And watch Derek's eyes when he gets hit with a shot. Anyway, we'll see. Tony's not a heavyweight. Tony started his career, I think, a heavyweight, I believe. Usyk has no power. Did you see AJ's face after the first fight and how AJ rammed to his chair at the end of the 12th round? Yeah, I know. I'm not even getting into the conversation. I'm not getting into that. Usyk made Dave Allen snore and spar with big out gloves and head guard. Allen got a good chin and yeah, I know. But let him keep believing that Usyk's got no power. It's fine. It's okay. It's all right. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Right, everybody. That's my sign that I have to go. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been BWTM Sports. Thank you so much for watching. It's been great having you on the show again. Take care.